Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with mid-September's update to the sales that are going on at the distributor level. This is more geared towards patrons, but if you're not a patron and don't plan on buying any of these products, I think it still makes some good data for what is going on at the distribution level and compare it to what is being sold in the market right now on TCG Player, and then I'll give my analysis if these are even good deals. And spoiler alert, I don't think so. I don't think the distributors can actually keep up with the absolute dumpster fire that is the Magic the Gathering market, with a lot of the products in the last couple of years that are still in the standard rotation. The overprinting is real, and the market is, it's not just that, but the demand for these type of products have just completely vanished. It seems like no one is playing standard. No one is excited about products that are a year or even 6 months old because Wizards of the Coast continues to print and create flashier and flashier sets as they move forward. If you look at this year, I mean, you could actually even make the argument that Wildsville Drain was a master set with how much was included in it. And then you have the unprecedented release of something like Lord of the Rings that just really had a lot of cards that spiced up Modern, even Commander, and value-wise it was just a knock of the park comparatively speaking to the rest of the products in that time period. And then we even had the disastrous Commander Masters, but Commander Masters still even looks better than a lot of these products that are still rotting on the shelves. So let's get into the first product that is on sale at the distribution level, and this is going to be the Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt draft boosters. So first off, Crimson Vow is it's pretty much a terrible investment right now, even at the distributor level. So I'm looking over the cost at so it would be $67 is how much it would cost me to buy it right from the distributor. And you can see the lowest one on here is $65.12. The last ones that have been sold have been $65, $65, $70. So they're, by the time I get it to you, pay for shipping, this is even better, a deal going this route. So it's kind of pathetic that I, as a store, even after the distributor sale, can't even compete with some of these stores that are just blowing out dead product. And I mean, this particular vendor here has 32 left, so it's going to take quite some time before these $65 boxes are going to be sold, and who knows, they might even be undercutted, and then there will be even more of a race to the bottom, because you can see it still seems to be going down from its 6 month at 79 all the way down to the low of the boxes are literally selling at 65. There's probably no other reason to buy below because this is free shipping from this vendor with over almost 10,000 sales. So if we actually look at what's wrong with Crimson Vow, well, there's really nothing in it. You do have the land cycle. Now, I would actually be a lot more bullish on this buy. I mean, $65 booster box it's incredible, or $67 from the distributor. That's incredible. It's a huge discount. I think my cost now for draft boosters, this era was $87, but then they bumped it up right after when Kamigawa was released, and Kamigawa is now $97 on average for me after all the distributor fees and shipping fees and handling fees that go along with buying from the distributor. It cost me about $97 out the door for new standard draft boosters. So this is steeply discounted. That is a good, 30%, 20%, 30% discount off of the distributor price. And it still doesn't even seem like it is worth it. I actually checked the EV of this set for draft boosters, and you're expected to only get about $50 to $60 per booster box because there isn't a lot of value here in anything. I mean, there's no chase cards in Crimson Vow. There's just that land cycle that's pretty good. And again, I'd be a lot more bullish on this set if we could actually have any sort of faith in standard, but we can't. It seems like no one is playing standard. There's no standard events that are really going on, and it's just competitive Magic is just at an all-time, does anyone care about it? Does it exist beyond Commander at this point? And they've just really oversaturated the Commander level with all these sets being so Commander focused that's a struggling environment as well. So I actually don't think this is a good buy, but if you do want to pick up Crimson Vow draft boosters, they do cost $67. Midnight Hunt is a little more expensive. So Midnight Hunt, the sets and the drafts are on sale at the distributor level at $80, but you can already see the set boosters. There's one vendor still that's about the same, about 71 plus $8 shipping, and then there's 80. So that's about what they're going for set boosters. I checked the EV out for this as well. Set boosters are a lot harder to try to gauge the expected value you get from a set booster, because there is the list slots, and it's they always change up the list every set release. They add cards and remove cards, so the value on those are really, it's really tough to keep up with that. So there isn't a good website. If anyone knows a good website to really look at the EV from set boosters specifically, or collector's boosters just specifically, be sure to share it with me, because Dongler just doesn't work for set boosters. It just does draft, and they haven't been the best at updating it. But draft boosters are even worse of a deal. There's plenty of vendors that are way below that. So even at the distributor level with this sale, this is not a good buy at the moment, with the just like, yeah, tons and tons of vendors that are selling this, and it is trending downwards. And like I said, the draft boosters on Midnight Hunt is just as pathetic as Crimson Vow. There isn't a lot of value in the Innistrad. Midnight Hunt, as you can see here, you do have Meathook Massacre, which was banned in Standard, still sees a lot of play in the Commander format, and sometimes sees play in Pioneer and in Modern. However, once you jump from that Mythic of the Meathook Massacre, it's all the way down to Haunted Ridge. And the problem with like Adeline, it's already had a reprint. So that is the problem that we're in this day and age, and that's what I'm going to talk about after this video. You can come on and check over my video over on the Rogue Deck Builder, and I'm going to do analysis on what I think is needed in Magic the Gathering's reprint policy. I think that we should go on this pseudo reserve list, is what I like to call it, where for at least like a 1 year, 2 year period, if there is still a standard product that is available at the, or just a product that's available at the distribution level, or still considered quote unquote in print for Magic the Gathering, maybe they need to rethink printing these cards in supplemental products and box sets. Like, it used to be okay to do challenger decks, or what they used to call theme decks back in the day, or even planeswalker decks, to throw these type of cards. Like throw in an Adeline in a challenger deck because there's a lot of demand for standard. Wizards, you don't have that demand right now, so you can't continue to do these products. You can't both have them in a standard set and reprint them in, you know, a set like March of the Machines with a different board or whatever, because it just creates way too much supply. And then how are you going to ever liquidate these type of boxes when you've just killed the value in them? If Wizards does not think that the secondary market has any reflection on their sales of current stuff that they still have at the warehouse and distribution level, they're kidding themselves. And again, it is quite pathetic too with these lands. They're quite low in this set, because it seems like Midnight Hunt was opened a lot more than Crimson Vow, so there's a lot more supply of these types of things. And like I said, I do believe that these are in other supplemental products out there for a few of these. These also get a high supply, a lot of these standard stuff, when they send out the promo packs to local game stores to give out as prize. Again, I'm starting to even question that at this point. If I think that those are gaining too much supply into the kind of the ecosystem, just due to the fact that there's so many fake stores that are masquerading as like real stores out there, and Wizards of the Coast hasn't done a good job like really vetting those, and it creates a ton of supply in the secondary market, because these things are just pushed right on like the eBays and TCG players and drive the cost down. So excuse me, I don't like either one of these as buys, but they are options to patrons to buy $80 for sets and drafts for the Midnight Hunt. So next one I want to talk about is the March of the Machines Aftermath Collector Boosters. This one's a little bit interesting, but the price continues to tank. I have no clue where the bottom is going to be for this particular set, because it you know, once you think, okay, we're 100 was the bottom, up now we're down to 98, 97, 96. Well, this should be pushed down even more, because there is a distributor that's offering these for $80 out the door for a Aftermath Collector Booster. Now, this one I am a bit more of a fan of, because the singles in this are, again, it's very rough to do the expected value from collector boosters, but there are some good hits that you can get in the collector boosters, especially from the March of the Machine Aftermath. You can get these Halo foils and extended foils that can be quite pricey, like the Obnixilis Captive Kingpin and the Nissa Resurgence Animus with extended. They still seem to sell pretty well, but if you can see over here on the weekly kind of decay, they're still mainly going down. So week after week, like you see very few things that are going up in value. They continue to trend down, so we haven't seen the bottom of Aftermath, which is really quite concerning. But this probably was a set that should never have been printed, because obviously the market cannot handle it or absorb another product like this. But this could be another Midnight Hunt, or not Midnight Hunt, double feature product, where everyone just forgets about this, and it doesn't get open, and it just gets, I mean, I don't think that they had any plans of doing wave after wave of this product, but absolutely this probably will not get like a reprint or any sort of additional supply of this. So things like, yeah, Trading Grounds is kind of cool in there. There is definitely some cool targets in this March Machine Aftermath. Again, if this was just like a once in a while product, I think it would have been a knock out of the park. In the day of in the age of doing a Dominaria Remastered, a Commander Masters, and a billion other things in the same Lord of the Rings in the same 6-month window or however what window that was, it's just too much for the market to absorb. And then you throw on top of it a March Machine Aftermath, and it's just spells disaster. We're just really, really in a sludge of a time period for just the glut of products that are out there. All right, so next up is also another March of the Machines product, which I actually do like. I've talked about this in one of my other videos, which is the March of the Machine Commander decks. This one can be had out the door for 120, and you can actually see that's a pretty good difference between these vendors. Other than these ones are doing free shipping, and let me tell you, on these Commander boxes, they're pretty expensive to ship. If you're going West Coast to East Coast, they can be pretty pricey to ship. So I'm not sure if you are a patron how much I can get the decks to you. I do offer service if you just want the decks broken down. I can do that. I don't like to do it too often, but I will do that for people to save on shipping. What I do like about these March Machine Commander decks is they are kind of unique with the Planeswalker cards. These did hold value the last time around, or the Plane Chase cards, because they don't do this often. So having the Plane Chase die and the Plane Chase cards, whatever you want to call them, in a box set, I think is going to always make this a more sought after product than the other Commander products. I think they need to start rotating Commander products, so I'm not sure it's a good idea to be releasing a Commander product with every standard set, and maybe they need to go back to just doing Commander releases and standard releases and not trying to mix the two too much, because again, we've just been oversaturated with so many products with each set release. There's just too many SKUs, and they're trying to go too many directions that people just can't keep up with it. And the way that the release sets, especially now that they've put like Commander decks in these specialty sets like Commander Masters and Lord of the Rings and Baldur's Gate and Warhammer, people just can't keep up. There's not enough time to breathe for new players to really experiment with Commanders, and you got to think of all the legendary creatures that are printed in the new sets. People want to kind of mess around with those, and I don't know what the solution to Wizard of the Coast is with these Commander ones, but possibly this is the big release. So they do like the spring release for the decks that are supposed to be a little more. I think they're like $10 more typically, because they used to call it Commander 2019, 2020, and then with Ikoria, then they released it with the main ones with Ikoria, then they did it with Strixhaven. Now they're doing it with like March of the Machines, and so it's like a once a year you get a new Capenna is another one, I believe. You get the better Commander decks, not the set of 2s in them. You get the set of 5 or the set of 4, whatever one they decide to release with that one. And they typically are a better Commander deck. Now, possibly maybe they should just get rid of that and just, they want to do 2 per set. It's just 2 per set. Maybe they do a budget one and a more expensive one. I don't know if they want to have them played against. I mean, it's just a headache with where Wizards at. All we know is it's not working right now because the market cannot absorb this stuff. As you can see, there's really nothing in these at the moment. Like $52, when we're at $50, $50 is basically if you put 100 cards in a deck, the bulk is going to equal $50. So if you don't see it above $50, they're pretty bad buys to try to break them apart for singles. You have like an Uncivil Unrest in here that's $10, but after that it really jumps down to a Colonial Hydra, and again, nothing after that. With this particular one, you see this one's $55. It has Adeline. That's what I'm talking about. That's these type of cards where they just chuck them right in another product right after they've just printed one. This was actually quite a cheaper version in the Commander deck. I think it's even going for less than $770. I mean, there's just too many versions already of Adeline in here. And then you have a bunch of other cards that have been reprinted like crazy, like Path to Exile down to $1. Remember when Path to Exile was actually a pretty expensive card because it was played like crazy in Modern? You have this Chivalric Alliance in here. There are some neat stuff in here though. I am quite bullish on the Commander products as box sets and on singles. If Wizards of the Coast do change their policies and let some breathing room for stuff, because you got to think these are only unique to these decks, and we've seen cards like these go through the roof in like Atraxa back in the day, and I'm starting to think these Commander decks are going to have less supply than like the once per year Commander releases. So in the scope of things, they might be more rare than like a Commander 2017. Commander that was just in one box set. But again, it's just, there's just too many things right now competing for money and not enough money to go around. I mean, Magic the Gathering just has such a a array of cards and products and stuff like that I think that's what's really killing these type of cards and why everything is so budget at the moment. So if you look down some of these other ones too, there's some $13 targets in here, couple $3 and stuff, but there's really nothing. This one's pretty pathetic at $43. That really means there's nothing in here. Was it $2 card? I can see, man, the Locust God has fallen from grace. This card used to be an expensive card too, but just keeps getting reprinted every Commander set. Possibly, yeah, this one's really terrible. The Divine Convocation and Tinker Time too seems pretty pathetic at the 47. However, if you do look what they're selling for on TCG Player, that is a decent spread, especially these few sellers here start to run out. Then this price tag at $120 doesn't seem too terrible. But again, the margins are so razor thin, even at these steep discounted prices from the distributor. Even this product, I can't really recommend that you FOMO it and hurry to buy some of these, because I think that this will be a sale for quite some time. All right, on to the next one. I actually do like this one. I'm a big fan of pre-release packs. I think pre-release packs are something that do have quite a bit of pressure for people buying down the road because they want to relive that pre-release experience, or maybe they want to collect it. This is the budget version of collecting things from sets. I do have quite a few people that like to keep one pre-release pack sealed from all the releases. And pre-release packs in the past, they used to really do well long time. They'd outpace things like booster boxes. We don't know how collector boosters are going to fare long term. I was going to say they were good because we've had some good instances of collector boosters, but now with Modern Horizons 2 going down, and even the core set, one of the core sets had aged well too, that started to go down in value too, and even Throne of Eldraine collectors went down because things get reprinted, and then collector booster boxes look even more pathetic comparatively speaking to the new shiny stuff that comes out. But pre-release packs, again, they have a die in them, they have a promo in 6 packs, and these are going for 14, so that spread's actually really good. So the distributor sale for these are 14, the cheapest one on TCG Player is 21. That's a decent spread. That's something that I do think is good. I think a case of them ends up being 210, whatever 14 times 15 is. Whatever that comes to, is a 210 out the door for a case of March of the Machine pre-release packs. And this one so far is the best buy that I've covered. Next up is Unfinity. This one is a weird product because currently I think it's cheaper on TCG Player than what I can get it for. Let me check my notes here. Oh yeah. So I can get it for $140, and there are quite a few sellers that are selling it for under $140. You can see, man, this guy has 48 of them for $135, shipping included. So these are people just ditching these and taking a loss on Unfinity. I think at one point there was a blowout on Amazon, or one of the other distributors had these for even cheaper. If I remember correctly, I think there was a time there were under $100 on one of the drops, and maybe that's where these things came from. This is a weird product. Mark Rosewater needs to get over himself and realize that there's no value. There is no value in unplayable cards. He keeps trying to think that people are going to have a demand for these, because we did see it in the Unglued and Unsanctioned. We saw some of these cards go up in value just because of how rare they were. In the whole scope of Magic the Gathering, they were incredibly rare compared to just regular cards. It had kind of this Portal 3 Kingdoms effect, where it was the scarcity that was driving the price, not like people actually wanted them. And, there is a market there for people that want funny stuff, but Unfinity itself wasn't that creative or funny, in my opinion. There used to be a lot of memeing type stuff in the unsets, and this one is ooh, cool, a Comet Stellar Pup. I don't know, I just didn't really like this set. I know a lot of other people didn't like this set. I think that the draft boosters are more appealing in the collectible or just the utility aspect, because there will always be a board Friday night when a store decides they're going to draft an Unfinity booster draft for a kick. But that's going to take a long, we're talking years for that to outstretch the demand. And the collectors themselves, if these would have been these Galaxy foils and these other foiling processes that were in here, like the borderless ones, if they would have been something special, that's what really drove the prices up of the Unglued and Unsanctioned and those type of ones. The lands were the first time they did these really kind of, they are very different. If you put them compared them to another Magic card. Magic used to have its own little theme, and then you had the unsets that just really broke that theme. But now with secret layers and all these other stuff where they keep pressing the envelope with different types of card styles, these things are going to get less and less unique, and that is why you can see on this column here, they are continuing to go down in value week after week, and so we haven't even seen the bottom for Unfinities. And the biggest problem, now that I'm going to see with Unfinity, where it did have some sustainable equity long term if they went away from Shocklands, is I can guarantee you when we go back to Ravnica, which is just in a few sets, that they're going to have Shocklands in them again. And so this is going to be another thing that makes this product actually start to lose value and lose appeal, because the Shocklands will be pushed down. If we had a hiatus for Shocklands, that would have been a wonderful thing, because the Shocks are the new fetches for the Pioneer format, and the Commander decks still use Shocks like crazy. And so it would have been able for this product to actually to start to look appealing and lead to purchases down the road. Again, the Galaxy foils are pretty good. I believe you do average like 1 Galaxy foil shock per collector's booster. So at what's the cheapest Galaxy foil? The cheapest Galaxy foil is a Blood Crypt at $100. Is that correct? Or nope, there's a Temple Guard at 70. Or it might just be a borderless foil. No, I know you get 1 Galaxy foil. Maybe you can get a basic land here, but it's going to be in one of these land slots. But then you do get some borderless. Like, we pulled quite a few in the box we opened, but again, it'd be interesting to do like a mass box opening and see just what kind of, how many shocks you pull and where that like break even mark is. But the other problem with this is, where's the bottom? Like, these are still going down, $2, $3, $4 a week with these type of cards. So until there's any sort of stability, we don't even know if this is going to be a good buy at this point. I guess that leads me to another topic is, geez, like if we look at all of these products, you can see trend after trend. I know that I'm showing like what distributors are blowing out because they're seeing the same stuff, but everything is just going down. And I want to hope that we look back and like after we get out of the little recession we're in right now, hopefully we can get everything back in, these ebbs and flows in the market. They always do affect the trading card and collectible when people have as much disposable income. There's a lot of other shenanigans going on in the world right now that are affecting this. And I'm going to fully admit that has probably a bigger role than I'm putting the blame solely on Wizards overprinting. However, if Wizards can, like if somehow we can get some adults in the industry to run their company and realize that how they did things for 25 years was probably the right way, we could look back at this time period and be like, man, remember we could get booster boxes for $50-$60 a piece? I remember that unset that was being blown out for $140 for a collector's booster. I think that we might be looking back and kicking ourselves. But as the information we have right now, it's hard for me to recommend that to people because I don't know if we're ever going to get adults that are going to make these hard decisions. Be like, you know what? The writing's on the wall. We have to scale back. There is no debating it. We have to. It's either let our brand die or continue down this road where it's going to be harder and harder to eke out money out of or profit out of things. And they've really just completely destroyed all of their strategic partners, whether it be distributors or store. That entire ecosystem this is uncharted territories. If they really think that they can manage on Arena and Amazon sales, I think they're in for a world of hurt because there's a lot of kind of cogs in the wheel or cogs in the machine that, if that's a right analogy that I'm making, that lead to sales. That every one of those local game stores is like a billboard for Magic the Gathering. It's even better than that. It's a place where, I mean, just my little store, how many people have learned Magic the Gathering through just curiosity of coming in. Oh, what's a game store? Oh, what did it do? What's Magic? Okay, let's see what it is. So, yeah, I think that they are really in for a world of hurt unless they change their tone. Anyway, this is a video. I've talked about these type of topics a billion times before. You can go and watch my rant channel over Gone Over Games when we're ranting about WotC and Pokemon in the market day in and day out. So anyway, on to the next product. This is the Dominaria United Commander deck set of 2 and the Commander deck display. So how these work is they come in pairs of 2. I'm okay selling them by 2. I'm okay selling them in a set of 4 because it's not that much work for me to just open a box and take 2 of them out. This one's actually pretty decent as well because the sale price is $105 for a set of, so that puts it at just like $55, $53 for a set of them. And you can see they're selling for $75. So that's, again, a pretty decent spread for the Commander decks. And same thing, it's pretty much the same how they split them here with the Dominaria. So this was an interesting sale at 105, but again, there really isn't too much. And stable. It looks like it's pretty stable here too. Yeah, that's not bad. This one actually looks like it's going up. So that's actually interesting with Dominaria. So again, this leads me to believe that some of these commanders weren't printed as heavily as we think. And going back to like Kaladesh commanders and Zendikar Rising commanders, yeah, starting to see a lot of movement in those type of products. However, though, this one, $68, $55 of value in both of them. $4 card is the most expensive one in this one, so that's pretty lackluster. And then $7 Shizo's Desh Storehouse. In this Dominaria one, a $13 Reaver Cleaver. So some goodies in this one, but again, if you're looking at the singles, like there isn't really a lot of opportunity for any of these to be broken down into any sort of value. Like sometimes you can get that arbitrage with these type of products. However, it does seem like they are becoming a little more scarce if there isn't that much vendors. So there's less than a page for people listing this. But if you can see though, the sales aren't that great. Like one is sold this month for a pair, and then a box set hasn't sold forever. So that could actually be a little more telling. I guess if we looked at Dominaria United with the Commander, go to sealed products here, this might give us a better indicator of what's selling here. So $30 for the pain bow and $26 for the. So that's still pretty decent. That puts it at what? So 60 plus 50 is 110. Ooh, that's right on about. I mean, that's the low though with the market price. It's more like 35 still. It looks like $40, $40 per box, and the sales data. Yeah, it's pretty bad too. I mean, that's not a lot of them that are sold per month. At least on the TCG player. But I don't know if there's a lot of people that are looking for these type of products. Again, it just has to be where Wizards needs to quit releasing so many of these things, and then these type of boxes will start looking good. But I don't see Wizards slowing down with Commander out of all things. This one, though, is interesting, though. I think this one's more interesting than some of the other ones we've talked about in this video. All right, on to the next one. This is going to be the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. So these are the ones I still recommend because Baldur's Gate has led to a lot of people buying the game being released has led to a lot of people buying Baldur's Gate product. You can see it is still on a nosedive. These, though, in the sets are selling a lot better. So if you compare that to Dominaria, look how many more sales in this month there have been for the entire sets. And then I'm sure if we were to click on the specific commanders, they're probably selling a lot better as well. So there is a decent little spread with these. The Baldur's Gate commanders can be had for 105 out the door. The cheapest one in here is 130, 134. However, it is starting to go down. These ones are starting to run out, though. There isn't a lot of supply in this range until you get up to this 145, it looks like. So decent spread. Again, nothing too crazy that sometimes we've seen with distributor sales. And there is quite a few good cards in this. If you can see the $51 for one of them, 65 though for another one, because this one does have a couple $5 cards. I know there's some black market lookouts. These do keep in mind though, you do get a collector's sample pack in each one of these commander decks. Most of them did come with those, so that does add to a little bit of value per commander deck. 56. Yeah, this one's actually not that great either, but at least none of them are down in the 40s like other sets. I think that there's one of like Midnight Hunt, or is it Kamigawa, that has like no value. Like even the bulk is bulk. Like it's pretty pathetic. One of them, like Soul Ring, is the most expensive card in the entire set. So yeah, it's a Baldur's Gate has some decent commander cards in it with black market connections. Jeskai Will. I mean, Mutavault sees a lot of play in Pioneer. Hopefully it can go back up. And there are some, decent cards, at least in this slot of this, $2 to $3, $4 range. There's quite a few. And last but not least, I didn't mention too that Baldur's Gate set boosters are still on sale for $74. That's another decent one. Those are things that are actually selling quite well. TC Player is about the exact same. You can still buy them for $75 in other places. However, those are starting to dry out. Last but not least, I did find this sucker at the distribution level. It was kind of hidden. It wasn't really advertised. And this is really concerning. So look at the nosedive of this product. So this is the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition. So I think they announced this right before they did Modern Horizons, if I'm corrected, or no, which one? No, Modern Horizons came out. But I just remember it's like you had fetch lands in various places that were printed all at once. And so this is the first Ultimate Edition Secret Lair, and you can see that it had a price of $215. It is all the way down with the cheapest seller selling it for $115. And so I found it on my distributor. They have them for $120, which again isn't that great. There's still a few available before we get to that mark. These are incredibly bulky too. These products they're massive. They come in this massive box here for 5 cards. I believe, do you get one extra card of something, or this one didn't? I think this one did just come with the 5 cards. But the problem with these is all the fetch lands, the enemy colored fetch lands, they are still haven't hit their bottom from Modern Horizons. They are still going down. And so that makes this product worse and worse and worse and worse. And you can see, yep, they just keep on going down in value. One of the reasons why I don't think that this is like an education problem with TCG Player, and like I think this product is probably better on eBay just because it has listings there that then get advertised. So I don't think that there's many people even know this sucker exists, and that's why you see there hasn't been a sale since August 23rd at $116. And I don't even know if the math, some of these secret layers, let's just look and see if we can find the secret layer. What's one called? The Arid Mesa. See what the version for Arid Mesa from the secret layer. Oh my gosh, you can see how many versions of these just from Modern Horizons. So Secret Lair Ultimate Edition is $20. So if we actually go to the Ultimate Edition for Secret Lair, it's going to have all the stupid pathways in here though. So you have 18, 21, 22, 27, and 29. So yeah, 30. We're looking at like 80, 100. Yeah, about $120 of value is all in there. So it's basically that's what they're being sold at, is like the liquidated price of what they're going for on the secondary market. And here's the most other concerning thing is we do have a weekly drop still of $1. So these suckers have not found their bottom, and that's mainly due to the fact because Modern Horizons 2 still has plenty of supply out there, and actually, it's not even the biggest chase cards anymore for Modern Horizons. Like, people looking to open up Modern Horizons are probably looking for like Subtleties and Furies and those type of cards for modern decks because people have already completed out their fetch lands. I mean, fetch lands will always have that demand from Commander, but I mean, we're in a day and age where it really isn't all about the fetch anymore. Those used to be the cream of the crop. They used to be the Ring of Jordans, if people are Diablo fans back in the day, which what we always make that reference is they were so liquid. Everyone wanted them. It was so fetch lands were a gold standard of if you wanted to trade cards or you wanted to get like maximum value out of cards. Usually buy lists had the razor thin spreads for fetch lands. And everyone was looking for them. However, that seems not to be the case with multiple reprints in a row, and Modern Horizons 2 set to have another reprinting in late October. So we are in a weird world right now where I can't even find you at distribution blowout levels good products to actually buy. So it is frustrating. I'm doing my best here. I hope you can still find enough value in the Patreon. Like I've mentioned before, you can get sleeves, deck boxes, board games, everything else, and I'll do my due diligence to try to save people money and find people value. But this week's kind of a lull. Nothing really cool here. I guess if I were to pick one product, it would be the March Machines Aftermath. That's really it. Everything else is pretty pathetic. So I'm expecting to see some deep sales for the Christmas season, but the problem is I think that everybody is going to be deep selling. So I don't even know at the distribution level if there's going to be anything that's going to be able to compete with eBay and Amazon dumps that are going to occur around the same time. But I'll keep my eye open up for things. And as always, appreciate everyone for their views. And if you're a patron, thanks a million. That's kind of the route that I'm going to try to go, is to help people save as much money they can in this crazy time for the trading card world. Hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.